All right, let's get this going. Hi, everyone. Boom. Hello. Hello, hello. Oh, look at this. Look at this hair. It's all over the place. I'm trying to let it grow out. So that's why it's a little all over the place. And I also see that I forgot some lighting. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Boom. And let it adjust. And it has been adjusted. Perfect. Right. How is everyone doing today? It is Monday. It is Monday the 2nd. Second. There is no the in second. And it's officially the month of my birthday, which is very nice. I love having a birthday month. When we are, we have a thing at home, me and my wife, where we have birthday weeks, but most of the time it's just me being happy it's my birthday week for many days straight. Yep. So this little stream is a little bit special because I want to. Well, I did a bunch of the Burning Crusade preparations, and now I don't really. I can obviously do stuff if I want to, but I also don't want to overdo anything, and I also don't. It's only fun so many streams in a row to just like get gold. So the next time I actually stream my rogue in Classic WoW, I want to go into TBC. So that leaves us with these two streams on Mondays and Wednesdays where I don't really know what to do, and I don't want to start a new game that is longer because then we don't have time to finish it before the Dark Portal opens. So I got the idea that maybe today we can go through the Classic Plus survey instead, and pretty much just have a just talking stream where we talk about anything and just we just chill. I got my coffee and I have the music, and I think I have what we need to have to just sit and chat and chill, right? So let's do that actually. I'm very excited for the release of the Burning Crusade because me and a couple of friends, as I've said many times, we're gonna play Arena, and we're gonna have like a release party at one of the friends' home. He has a house outside of Stockholm, so we wanna go there and pretty much be online for a day in the weekend. So it's probably Saturday, I think it is, and then we will level together the first couple of maybe the first level or two. I don't think we will get many more levels into first session. So it will be really fun. I haven't had sort of like a LAN party in a long time. Twitch metrics is still saying I'm fine. I'm kind of worried about my like upload speed recently, but I'm trying to have an eye on it, and it looks fine. Same goes for YouTube, I think. Yeah, I think so too. All right. Let's have a look at the survey. Here it is. Kind of interesting that they made a little app for it. I think I'm gonna Keep lowering the volume. Maybe somewhere here. I'm actually gonna check, hang on. I'm gonna check on the phone. Then I have to mute the microphone. And testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is fine. Cool. Okay, good. So now we have this app, and it's sort of like a browser. It's still Chrome. I have access to translations and stuff, but it's sort of like a browser extension that pulls out an app like this. And the website is pretty much asking the question, what is Classic Plus? And then they go on with saying, we built this website to ask you exactly that. Our team, led by Jordi and All the Black Smoke, wants to help us all better understand the community's vision for an ever-evolving World of Warcraft Classic Plus experience. Give your thoughts in our in-depth surveys and share your ideas on our content pages and make your voice heard. So the idea here is that we should take the survey, that's the step one. And if we have our own ideas, then we should post them. And then other people can vote and other people can like give thumbs up and give thumbs down and stuff for what they like and what they don't like. And what makes this really interesting is to see like what people would like for a Classic Plus, because there are so many different both ways of doing it, but also so many different perspectives of like, yeah, I like Wrath of the Lich King, so my Classic Plus version is very close to Wrath of the Lich King. And some other people might say, well, that's not my words, by the way. Some people may say that. And some say TBC is my favorite expansion. And then some others say Vanilla is my favorite. And there are some design parts in those games that are not, they don't go together. So that's why it's a very interesting topic. I'm from the perspective of like Classic Plus is Vanilla Plus. It is, in my opinion, it is the idea of what if TBC never happened? What if we went with something else and we never went to Outlands? So this means that in my head, there are, if we had a Classic Plus, it would mean that the start of Classic Plus is very similar to the start of Vanilla. And the end of Vanilla is kind of where Classic Plus things start, with some minor things here and there, but in general, like. And I also think I have I really would like we had a couple of conversations quite a while ago about horizontal and vertical progression, and I think there's a lot there to utilize in an ever-growing Classic version. But I think I want to just go ahead and take the survey. That's what I want to do for a couple of days, and I will just talk through it. And if you guys have questions in how I reason, or if you have any ideas you want to talk about yourself, just throw them in the chat. And I also obviously have some wild ideas myself, but I don't. First of all, I want to just take the survey and then we'll see. So we have the intro survey. I'm gonna fix my mic over here. Get started with the intro survey. We'll ask some basic demographic questions to better understand who you are, then dive into your thoughts about the fundamentals and philosophy of Classic Plus. Start the survey. This looks good, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So if my camera is in the way, I think it should be around here. Then, but if it's in the way for the text, just let me know. So which faction do you usually play? I usually play the Horde. In one way, I could select whichever is best for Raid Arena this expansion. But I usually prefer going with what I think looks better, and then put in some metagaming inside there. So let's say I want to play Blood Elf, and if they are down the gutter, then I'm not going to play Blood Elf. But if they are at least decent, then I will pick it, even if it's maybe not optimal. That makes sense. Which race do you... And I'm usually the Horde. I like Alliance too, but I switch between both factions, I guess. But I'm usually Horde. Which race would you consider they are your main race? I would say Undead and Night Elf. So if I'm Alliance, I usually play Night Elf. And if I'm Horde, I usually play Undead. Maybe Human. Well, what class do you consider your main? Feel free to pick multiple. Obviously Rogue. I have a feeling of Shaman as well, because I did play that in Classic 2019 a lot. But it feels like my heart belongs at the Rogue, yeah. How old are you? I'm 31 to 36. How often do you play WoW each week? So less than weekly or inactive, a few hours a week, over 10 plus hours a week, every day if I can, and more, 20 plus hours. I play a lot of WoW, 40 hours. So this is interesting because when I play WoW, I don't always play WoW, but if I do, I play more than a few hours a week. I play more than 9 hours a week. I would say I play 1 hour, 1 to 2 hours on average over the course of the work week, like Monday to Friday. So that's between 5 and 10 hours. And then I probably play a couple of hours every day on Saturday and Sunday as well. So I think I'm between these two. Let's say over 10 hours a week. That sounds good. If I play WoW. But then if I just take a WoW break, then obviously it's 0. But this, I would assume this is as long as I actually am playing WoW right now. What is your experience with the various iterations of Vanilla Classic World of Warcraft? Check all that apply. 2004, yes. OG gang, nice. Yes, I played a rogue. I started during the Blackwing Lair patch, I think. Because I remember when AQ40 came out. And I wanted so badly to get the quest items from the quest rewards from the AQ20 quest, because I thought those were really, really cool. But I didn't raid back then. Only expansions beyond vanilla. I've never played vanilla. Nope. Private servers, yes. 2019, yes. Season of Discovery, yes. Classic Anniversary, yes. All right, good. Yeah, the only thing I didn't play is Season of Mastery. I think I made a character, but well, I got like level 20 or something. What role do you usually play? In Classic, I only play DPS. I did play True Frost. Oh God, why are we doing surveys now? Yeah, this is a community effort in the Classic WoW space, where we are like dreaming of this evergreen version of the World of Warcraft, where we did not get expansions. We instead just kept on building on the original 2004 version of the game, similar to old school RuneScape. Yes, a lot of people in this community is doing. We are doing these surveys. Like all the big content creators for the game are doing these surveys, because they are then collecting the data and they are checking what the community feels like about these types of servers. With that said, hi True Frost, how are you? So this is going to be a lot, and I understand that this is not like for people that are not into WoW, but it's something I want to do, and I find it hard to find time to do it between streams, and I thought it was a good idea to do it when I already had scheduled time at my PC, if that makes sense. You're all right. How about you? I'm good. I'm good. I have my coffee and I have my survey. Yeah, I'm true Unk. Someone said that the other day that I'm evolving into a true Unk. Go away, scammer bot. All right. What regions do you play from? I play from EU and only EU. Which of the following labels describe you? Choose as many as you feel like is accurate. I'm a casual raider. I can be a hardcore raider. I'm mostly a casual raider because I like to have fun over. I like to have fun with people that I enjoy over performance. But there is a bottom limit of how how deep how like low I can go in the performance. I'm not really a leveler. I love leveling like 1 or 2 characters, but I don't level many characters. I'm not a PvP player. Partly an auction house gamer, depends on how I feel. I'm not a transmog hunter, but I like hunting transmogs. Does that make sense? True Anki, yeah. How likely are you to play Classic Plus? I can't wait to log in. I'll play, but who knows for how long, depends on the quality, of course. I think it goes without saying that if it's shit, then I won't play. But I will assume it's good, so then of course I can't wait to log in. Would you pay a box fee for Classic Plus? If so, how much? I would. I would also then assume if Classic Plus is what I want, and they're like, yeah, this is the version I really, really want to play, then I would probably pay a $60 box price. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you feel about Classic Plus if they changed how the game looked via Unreal Engine S graphics, sliding polygon counts? Maybe 4, something like that. I think the world and what you do in the world and how the world feels is very important. So unless they don't touch that, I'm kind of good. Modern World WoW character models. 2 maybe. I feel like 1 1 is touch the models and I quit. I think 2 is kind of fair because they can put in stuff from the newer models, but I really like the old models. Modern WoW character animations. 3. Animations are kind of okay. Modern WoW spell effects also 3. Modern WoW UI. Player and target frames, action bars, namesplates. 8 maybe. How would you like Blizzard to handle the server rollouts? So if they made a Classic Plus server, how would they roll it out? Many servers at launch, some PvP, some PvE, a couple of RP like Vanilla Classic launched with. I'm leaning towards this one, so I'll pre-mark this. A condensed server list like in SOD with consolidation happening over time. 1 mega PvP server with faction balance enforced and 1 mega PvE server with no faction balance enforced. This one is no. We always need faction balance. Only 1 mega server PvP and let players opt in, opt out from PvP. I think the original launch is the best way if we can pull it off. And by that I mean, let's say we do faction balance and we make sure the servers are stable and we populate them with enough people that so the world feels alive. Then we maybe could go no layers or like minimal amount of layers like we had in Classic. We had like 2 layers, I think, 2 or 3 when it was stabilized, and that is okay. Right now it's 10 layers and that's not okay. How would you feel if Classic Plus had an element of seasonal servers resetting every couple of years? No. The idea for me with the Classic Plus realm is that it is evergreen, and having the idea of, oh, but we are resetting a little bit now and then, or like if you could like do side stuff in other systems that funnels into the game. Like no, this should be the modern take on the original game. So we need to make sure that the original game's like gameplay loop is intact. That's really important to me. How would you feel about layers in Classic Plus? No layers in Classic Plus, I think, because this one goes into this one that I would rather have many small servers. When I started playing Season of Discovery, I actively chose the smaller server because I like small servers, but that eventually died out, as they do. But I would rather solve that problem than adding new servers. Well, I would rather solve the problem than putting in layers. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Next section. In-game systems. Should the size of the raids be reduced from 40? This is interesting. I really liked what SOD has. Season of Discovery. I really like that. Reduce required raid size, but implement flex range. We can bring more players and the challenge stays the same. Yes, exactly. One thing I think is important with how vanilla raiding works is that there is one difficulty. And I think that's very important. The raid you step into is the same raid I step into. And the guys you bring is up to you, and the guys I bring is up to me. If I want to min-max my raid, I do that. If I want to bring as many friends as I can, I do that. And the loot should also be static. So let's say if I bring 30 people instead of 20, then I know that I do that knowingly. Like, I know that I will get less loot for the entire raid, but that's like you choose the social aspect over the gearing aspect. Then if you want to maximize the amount of gear you get because you're like competing against like world first or something, then you bring 20 and then you can loot cancel exactly how you want it. Reduce required races to 20 and allow me to bring more than 20 if I want, like in SOD. Oh, okay, hang on. This is... No, okay, challenge stays the same. No, I don't want this. No. This is the thing I want. Reduce required raid size to 20 and allow me to bring more than 20 if I want. Yes, so the raid becomes easy if you bring more. So if you want the hardest version of the raid, is if you bring exactly 20 or maybe 30 if it's tuned for 30 or whatever. Should Dungeon Finder be implemented? Only to group you, but still up to you to get travel to dungeon. Yes. Oh, yes. This is a no-brainer for me. We want to find people easy. Finding people should never be hard. But you should not like teleport around the world. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Should summoning stones outside dungeons be implemented? I don't think so. I think traveling to a raid or a dungeon together is important. I understand that it's convenient to get summoned. Warlocks, for example, can summon you. So maybe do that. But I don't want the stones from Season of Discovery. I think one important aspect of vanilla is planning and preparation. And portals, summoning stones, warlock closets, stuff like that, they interfere with planning and preparation. Should there be heroic dungeons? No. One dungeon, one dungeon or raid has one difficulty in my head. Hang on, let me just check one thing. Yeah, there we go. All right, moving on. One thing I'm not opposed to having hard dungeons though. So let's say we get a new dungeon in Classic Plus that is similar to what Karazhan Crypts was in Season of Discovery. It was tuned for geared players, and it gave gear as a catch-up mechanic. So maybe find a middle ground there. So if a hard dungeon comes out at max level and it's tuned for people with good gear, it obviously could give good gear as well to people with lesser good gear. Should there be rated PvE? Mythic Plus, Mage Tower, Prestige levels, level 60 rating, leaderboards. From my personal perspective, no. I don't think rated content at all belongs in an MMO. So I obviously think this one goes for no as well. But I also think that people would quit if they can't measure. But maybe perhaps it could be community driven. That's why I like the speedrunning community in vanilla. When they just say, "Hey, we're gonna clear Molten Core the fastest," it gets kind of what's called like gangster, if that makes sense. It's like, "Hey, I bet you can't do this faster than us," and then the community comes together and times it, and we create a website for it, and then we start competing in this non-official place. I think that's how MMO communities should do things. That's how the hardcore community did it. And if I remember correctly, that's like how Warcraft Log started and kind of is. So the only rated thing that is in the game is currently in retail when it comes to Mythic Plus and PvP. So in my head, in a Classic Plus world, I don't see the game actively supporting any rated activities. Should AoE looting be implemented? No. One mob, one kill, one bag to loot. That's part of the roleplay. What features of world buffs would you want to see in Classic Plus? Check all that apply. Let's see. All right, so this is this is my favorite topic, I think. No, it isn't. But it's like one that grinds people the wrong way. I think non-dispellable. Maybe not non-dispellable. Hang on. Okay, so world buff is a feature in Classic WoW where you get out in the world and you get very important world buffs if you want to be competitive in a PvE environment. So they are really, really powerful. If you go out in the world and you get them, then they are so powerful and so easy to lose. If you die, you lose it. And this one refers to that people can dispel you. And so if you get dispelled, you have to do the process again. And the whole process maybe takes 20 minutes if you're summoned everywhere and pay for all the summons. If you actually go around and get them, like an actual route with friends, it can take like... You can't really get all of them, I guess, because you can't clear... You have to clear Dire Maul first. Yeah, I guess, and then you log off the city, yeah. So you would have to lock your character down and not play it while waiting for your world buffs to just keep them, and then be summoned to the raid, and then you can use them. That whole process, I think, is dumb, because you should always be able to play your character. But all the solutions that all the people like come up with, either they don't belong in raids, or alternative source, purchasable consumables like in Season of Discovery, or no world buffs ever, for example. If we do those things, it will reduce the people like in the world. So my idea is that we should not have all these all the summoning things, and we should not have like ways to lock people's character down. What we want is people to go out in the world, collect buffs that are sort of like an extra potion, maybe, sort of like not to the value of, yeah, I can get this world buff and then I can then my character like wakes up. It is so strong right now. I feel like if they were weaker, they would first of all not feel as mandatory. They would feel mandatory for like, yeah, I really want to push my character to the limit, but they wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't be so what's it called, like binary, like get buff be good, skip buff be bad. And if we make sure we can implement new world buffs, we can implement new quest, and I count in quest items like the Blasted Lands, where we do a quest to get a powerful item we can use. That's a world buff. It's like a buff from the world. I also see like grinding consumables as part of the same cycle. So if I go out in the world, I collect a bunch of flowers and I make potions and I take them to the raid. From one perspective, that's also a world buff. So what I want to do is keep all the world buffs as they are, but maybe you can only have one and you will select one for your character, for your class. Or maybe you can get all of them and you can, but they are weaker and don't like double dip into each other. Because if you can manage that, then you can get more world buffs. So a rogue could get a world buff that increases energy regeneration. Mage could get world buff that, maybe like increases cast time or something. I don't know. Just a bunch of thoughts there. I think going out into the world to get power is really important. So I think I would say combine these two. Probably this one as well. And some type of chrono boon. Like this one I will tick in because this lets us get them whenever we want and then save them until we raid. But I think, yeah, okay, so I like this, yeah. How would you feel if Classic Plus trimmed the capabilities of add-ons and weak auras? Just let me keep my out-of-combat quality of life add-ons, I guess. I prefer my add-ons and weak auras, leave them alone. I won't play Classic Plus if they remove my abilities to do weak. Okay, so something like this, I guess. I think if no one has combat add-ons, then that's fine. Should mount level requirements be lower? No. Why? Should flying mounts be implemented? No. Should guild banks be implemented? No. Well, maybe, yes. No opinion. Yes, they should. This is tricky, because this is really stupid, but a guild bank, yeah, it should be implemented, but it should be not activated per default. So if I create a guild, I should not automatically have a guild bank to put stuff in. But I should be able to buy, let's say my guild comes together and every member, we have 10 members and they pitch in a couple of gold. Well, not a couple of gold, but like a hefty amount of money, then we should buy a guild bank. I think similar to a tabard. Should Classic Plus have achievements? No. Make your own achievements. If you need the game to shine whenever you do some crazy thing, then you're in the wrong place, I think. Make your own achievements, set your own goals, go get them. Should reputations be streamlined, made easier to level? Reputations? I'm gonna put yes here, but I wanna explain myself. One thing I really like about vanilla is that there is a way to get what you want if you play like enough, if that makes sense. So if you want to grind Timbermaw rep, just go and kill the furbolgs or whatever they're called, and you will get the rep eventually. And the same thing goes with the city reputation, where you can put in cloth and you will get reputation back. So I like that about vanilla, that they are not time gating you, like, oh, you can only get X amount of resources in this time. If you want to go hard on this reputation or you want to grind this item, go do it. Spend the whole entire weekend and grind it if you want. So what they can do here, reputations to be streamlined / made easier to level. You could add more ways, like various ways to farm the reputations. What they should not do is implement, like, if you do this quest line, you will reach this reputation. It should not be like a cookie cutter way to get the reputation. It should pretty much be more ways to get reputation. Right now, if you want to get exalted with the capital city, you have to do a bunch of quests, but eventually you will run out of quests for that city, and you would have to hand in cloth for the last, I think, the half of Revere to reach exalted, and that can cost a lot of money and stuff. So you don't have much options. If there were quest lines you could keep doing, or if there were maybe you get let's say you have a raid that has increasingly you get rep for a specific capital city with that specific raid, that would be really cool, and stuff like that. So yes, there should be you should not necessarily have an easier time, but you should have a more varied time, if that makes sense. How do you feel about transmog in Classic Plus? Transmog bad. I don't like it. It's the same. It's the RP thing. You, in this world, we share it together. We should not have different. We can have different perceptions of it through opinions, but we should not have different perceptions on it on our screen. Should a separated collections inventory be implemented? Toys / mounts. Is that like Wrath? I'm kind of not opinion. I think bag space is important, but I also don't really care. I would rather spend the bag space on important stuff, and toys or mounts. I don't know. No opinion. I'm gonna put no opinion. I think, well, as long as trinkets. I think this is hard. I'm kind of yeah. I'm just gonna go with my gut feeling. I don't want to overthink it. Should Classic Plus allow GDKPs? No. That's a topic we've been through. Should the level cap ever be increased from 60? No, never. I think I want to put this here. It's obviously not black and white, but I'm more on the no never side than it depends side, because I think the idea with Classic Plus is to keep this world and its numbers intact. So if we start going around with going over level 60, we are also toying around with the numbers after level 60. So what does a level 65 weapon look like? What does a level 65 shoulder pads look like? And how does that compare to a level 60 shoulder pads? You know, so I think just keep it at 60 for now. Yeah, depends on how long you have to launch. We'll have to see is the actual approach. But no. Okay, so this is my favorite part, the world, section 3. The world is my favorite part of vanilla, and me being in the world, like, I love going out in the world. I can spend hours roaming the world, doing world PvP, questing, talking to strangers. It's one of my favorite things to do at night time for whatever reason. So this is the most important thing for me. Should Classic Plus have new zones? If you are talking about zones as in Barrens is a zone, and we could get a new zone like Barrens. Okay, let's see. If yes, where in Azeroth or beyond would be okay for you? Only the main 2 continents. But also, yes, please. I think it's good to have new zones, but obviously don't just give us level 60 zones like you do. You should have. You should use these 2 continents and just flesh them out. Sometimes it means adding quests and mobs and stuff to do in the existing zones, and sometimes it means, yeah, like Hyjal is such a good example. But it's the first thing that comes to mind, obviously. But there are various places you can add a new zone as well. The important part is that we don't, like, for me, If we could take the two continents and push them together so we could run from top left to bottom right, that would be even better. But I think because I don't want the more continents, the worse. So 2 continents is fine because that's what we are used to. But if that was one continent, that would be even better. Anywhere on Azeroth and other planet dimension, no, like this is too crazy. We don't go here yet. Anywhere on Azeroth, no. But this one suggests like Kultiras or stuff, shit like that. No. Stay where we are. The new content be added for leveling. Quest, new level zones and dungeons. Yes, it should. This one, however, as I mentioned before, to me, Classic Plus is about what happens later. It's not about what happens at launch. So from my perspective, when Classic Plus comes out, I wouldn't mind if it's identical to a vanilla server. And then maybe 2 months in, you add something for early game. And then another 2 months in, you add something for mid-level game. And then another 2 months in, you add something for a late game thing. And then maybe you do like Molten Core, blah, blah, blah. And then when we usually feel like, okay, now it's time for Blackwing Lair, then maybe we get another raid, or maybe we get something like because Molten Core is like Molten Core in Onyxia. Then we could get Blackwing Lair and another single raid boss, single boss raid, stuff like that. So you like evolve with it. It's not like revamping from the ground up. I think it's implementing vanilla WoW again, as if it's released now for the first time, pretty much. Should leveling be sped up? The leveling pace is already great. Yeah, the leveling pace is great. This is the same thing as the reputations. It's not the speed we need to change. It's we need to give players better, like more varied ways of doing it, because some people just hate the grind that happens sometimes. So we need to make sure that these people that hate grinding, they should be like, oh, there's a breadcrumb quest here that leads me to a new zone I haven't been to. And when they go there, they should not be met with one quest to do. They should be met with maybe 5 that leads into another camp of maybe 5 additional quests or something. And they should be rather spread out, so we don't get this retail problem of do this 5 quests here, go 5 quests here, 5 quests here, 5 quests here, and then you're like on a treadmill. You want to spread it out a little bit, but you should always have the breadcrumb quests to guide you in the direction of where you can quests. And one thing I would also like to see is like various ways of doing dungeons. Like if there was a dungeon tuned for 3 people, that would be great. Don't always need like every dungeon is a 5-man dungeon. Like it could be tuned for 2 people. I don't know. So more varied ways to level. Should there be more class-specific quests? No new class-specific quests. Yes, but only to unlock abilities, spells like Warlock, Demons, or Priest racials. I don't understand. Why is this a question? We obviously want more class-specific quests because they enhance the roleplay. They make you go out in the world and be a rogue and meet other rogues and go out and be a warlock or warrior. I think this is just a good thing. The only bad thing I can see with this is that you pigeonhole. Okay, so every rogue at 20 go and do this 20 quests. So like you reduce the amount of rogues doing other things at level 20. But I think that's a stupid thing. I obviously think we need to push more RP into the classes. Could there be more epic questlines like Rock the Large Scepter, Shifting Sands, etc.? Yeah, that's RP as well. Maybe not necessarily like every class gets something. Maybe not that, but I think I really like the idea that you can always strive for something really cool. Especially if you also successfully tie it into the class fantasy. So the dagger, like the quests in Season of Discovery for rogues was really cool. So maybe something like that. Which of the following best describes how you would like to see changes in Classic Plus to old raids? I prefer the old raid exactly how they were. Easy. Tune them as needed for any change in player power, but keep the spirit of the original raid. Add more complex and difficult mechanics similar to Season of Mastery, Season of Discovery for a fresh challenge. Do all of the above, plus add new bosses and areas within them. To me, I'm just gonna say my opinion here is that this is not one of my hearts. This is not one of my most important topics. I love raiding, but to me, raiding is what I do, like in the evening with the boys, so to speak. I wanna come to raid. I wanna be prepared, and I wanna do a lot of damage. But ultimately, I want to hang around with my friends that I picked up over the leveling journey, and I want to hang around with the guild I've joined or the guild I've made. And it's not really important what I do in the raid, because then we get loot, we get powerful characters, and then I want to take that into the world and do things in the world. If I want to do well PvP, if I want to sneak around in the opposite faction city, if I want to grind, if I want to try out some new solo farm, all of these things. I want to use the gear I get from raids to do things I like doing. I don't really feel like the sandbaggy fights of classic WoW. They are not negative for me, but not from like, oh, they're too easy. It's like that's not the point for me. I don't go to raids to have a challenge. I go to raids to vibe with my buddies. So this one is tricky to answer. Maybe it's no opinion. I prefer the old raid exactly how they were. Tune them as needed. Maybe no opinion. It's like if they did sod level of changes, I don't mind. Scarlet Enclave was tuned too hard, but mechanically it wasn't too hard. Should there be new raids? Yes, but only stuff that already exists in original Azeroth. Yes, proposed raids that already exist in the world, plus create some new interesting content like Scarlet Enclave. So I think this one, because I don't wanna say only stuff that already exists in original Azeroth. I think expanding on the world as a secondary universe, but on those two continents, is what I want. All right, the player. Do Classic Plus have new playable races? And if so, which of the following categories should be acceptable? Check all that apply. Any races from future? No. Then we'll get pandas or something. Jokes aside, this is also a topic I don't care much about because it does not affect the world. Actually, it could enhance the world. It could vary, like the amount of people you meet in the world, if that makes sense. New playable races that already exist in Azeroth, sure. Completely new races never seen in Azeroth, maybe not that. Like, if we add new playable races, at least take inspiration from the Warcraft universe somehow. Any races from future WoW expansions? Yeah, let's go with this one. New playable races that already exist in Azeroth. So this means that there are a bunch of races that could have come to retail but hasn't. So like these, or things we already have. Do Classic Plus have new classes? Yes. Yes, no. I mean, the issue I see here is that now I'm just picturing my dream. And it's the same again. Like, I don't mind if they add new classes in Classic Plus, because it would change the world, but it wouldn't interfere with the world. I want to add, like, I want to add a field here saying, like, yes, but don't go too crazy. So, like, in the Classic Plus, I don't want the exact classes. Like, I don't want Death Knight, I don't want Monk, I don't want Demon Hunter, I don't want Evoker. But what I want is classes that maybe haven't been in retail, or maybe we get a Death Knight, but it's not the Death Knight we are used to. This one is hard. Because they're so loaded. I don't want Death Knights as they exist today. But I don't mind a class called Death Knight that does, like, maybe it's a Necromancer Warrior. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Let's just go with no. I don't think we can talk ourselves out of this. Should new race class combos be added? Yes, but only stuff within the lore that makes sense and keep factions races feel unique. Exactly, yes. This is what we want. Should the Horde have Paladins and Alliance Shamans? No, leave it as vanilla. The only reason I feel like I'm on the yes team from a like a new player perspective, from like a from an actual perspective, like if you want to keep the player base, you know. But I think the game is better, in my opinion, if there's a weight to the faction selection between, like, if you want to select between them, and it's a weight to it, except from just visual stuff. So if you feel like, oh, I want to be the red guys, then I can be shaman. If I want to be the blue guys, then I can be paladin. That it should impact that. Should classes be reworked? Should classes be reworked? New base ability in spells, class rolls combination. Same quality of life adds totemic recall, warlock summoning gate, no common points persistence would be nice. Some new spells have modernized ability rotations, just don't completely change them. I mean, I am in this ballpark, but as we've talked about before, this is not my my favorite topic, because whether or not a rogue has Envenom or not does not break the game for me. So this is a tough one. But I do agree that they have their class fantasies, but I think we can tweak without losing the class fantasy. But these guys, Totemic Recall, Warlock Summoning Gate, Combo Point Persistence, these are not quality of life things. These are game-changing, like, mechanics. These are game-changing mechanics. It's not quality of life to be able to put up combo points on one character and use them, like, on one target, and use them on another target. That's not quality of life. That's a design change on the class. So let's go here. So maybe this one, maybe? Sure. Let's say go here. Of the following, what is the most important change needed to raid buffs in Classic Plus? You may want to pick multiple, but only pick your biggest concern. This question refers to 1 hour long buffs, not Paladin Blessings. We ask about raid buffs more later. So this is about the people who feel like, oh, I don't want to buff all the people every time. Like you don't want to click one guy, buff him, click one guy, buff him, click one guy, buff him. Or they actually maybe no, hang on. Not blessing, but 1 hour long buffs. Yeah, so they're like the regent ones. I think we leave it as in vanilla, but yeah, maybe we have it raid wide. Raid buffs should be combined, so multiple classes can buff different things. I didn't play rats that much, so I don't understand this one. Raid buffs should cost less mana. No. Got a drink, man. I understand that you don't want to click around. So raid wide. Expensive raid wide buffs, I like. But also leave it as vanilla. Besides that. Talent specializations, should they be reworked? Somewhat, but only like a light touch. I like the reworks that happens in TBC. Because I feel like the talent trees are very much the same as they are in vanilla, but they are like reorganized a little bit. So I think it makes sense to just touch a little bit. Should a 4th new talent specialization be added for classes? No. I don't think we want this, but what we want is these tweaks to support more roles. So for example, there are multiple shamans and paladins that tanked raids in vanilla. They will usually threat cap their DPS, but as long as the DPS don't care, then it's totally fine to have a paladin and a shaman as tank. So I think what we need to do is these talent specializations that we somewhat, but we have a light touch and we tweak them around. We make sure that we support Guardian Druid and tank shamans and protection paladins in a proper way. Limit it to hybrid classes with roles that didn't get fleshed out in vanilla. No new talent specializations. Yes, I want these 3. I think having trees in general. So we have the Resto, Feral, and whatever it's called. Balance, Resto, and Feral. In the Feral tree, you should have enough for the cat and bear. And in the Shaman, you have Elemental, Resto, and Enhancement. And they should be structured in a way that if you want to tank as a Shaman, you can use those. Mix and match. If you want to do a spell-focused tank, then you have more points in Elemental. And then you have... then if you want to... Oh, hi, Snit. Welcome. And if you want to have a more physical around the tank, then you go Enhancement. Have you done this survey, Snit? What do you think? Should every specialization be competitive in both PvE and PvP? This is kind of dumb, stupid worded. Oh, double Snit is in the 2 of the chats. Hello. All right. This is very... I don't like this wording. Should every specialization be competitive? Yes, every spec should be viable in Osnars. These are super different. Prot Warrior is great. Yes. Prot Warrior is great. Love Prot Warrior. I like one-shotting casters in Arena. Should every specialization be competitive in both PvE and PvP? I think it's also like what it means to be competitive. Not in most cases, but vanilla hybrid classes don't perform well in PvE outside of healing. Those classes could could use a bit more love. No, not every spec needs to be perfectly raid PvP viable. Overtuning for PvE bans could break PvP and vice versa. I'm on this camp, I think. What I think about balance in Classic WoW is that people need to get out of this idea that unless my character is performing on like the meter, that means I'm viable. And if I don't perform on the meter, that means I'm not viable. And if you're in PvP, like, is my character good in like one of the top meta compositions? I'm not a PvP guy, so I can't really speak for them, but I feel like it's a weird situation. From my perspective, a viable character is a character that a raid leader considers bringing into the raid for some reason. That makes it viable. So if you are a character that's like, yeah, I want the priest because I want the shadow word, power word fortitude, then you're viable. I think it's kind of easy. But competitive is a different thing. A competitive class is a class that when someone wants to optimize the composition and someone wants to perform in whatever meta is popular. So if you're doing like a speed run, then you're counting from the second you pull to the last boss kill. And if you are optimizing that format, and if your class is competitive if you are considered in those compositions. And if you are in a boss like a parse, like boss parse meta, then you're competitive in that meta. So I think it's kind of loaded. I don't really like it. It's never this easy. But every spec should not be viable in all scenarios. So an example to this is if you have a character that is super powerful and is like, yeah, I do the most damage on single target bosses, then it's a high chance that it's also good in PvP, but we should not like aim towards that. That, oh, everyone should do exactly the same amount of damage, bring the same amount of utility, and have the same amount of tools in PvP. That's not good. Should dual specialization be implemented? Yes, it should, but I don't like it. Actually, this is my survey. No, let's not go. Fuck dual spec. Should new professions be added? Should new professions be added? Yes, new professions sounds awesome if they contribute to the world and don't like if there's a profession, they add it, and it means that we have more players out in the world engaging with each other and world PvP. Awesome. If you add a new profession that leads to more dungeon spamming, no bueno. Should professions be updated to have more end game relevance? Yes. What do we make professions relevant? They are relevant. But yes, we should have it more end game relevance. We should have professions relevancy increased in all aspects of the game. It should never be like you should not be able to like craft as a piece of gear and then like, yeah, now I don't need to talk with anyone again. I've crafted everything myself. You should be dependent on each other. You should be forced to like talk and trade with each other to really get full value out of your profession. But you should also never feel like, oh, I have spent a lot of time and effort into my profession and now it's useless. That's also not good. Right. We did the intro survey. Awesome. How are you today, Oliver? So now we can do world, we can do player, and we can do systems. I feel like we want to do the world because we are not really... We're not really interested. Well, we are interested, but this is my jam. But I have a gut feeling they will ask questions that I think is too specific. Okay, let's go. Dungeon survey, lore survey, quest and leveling survey, raid survey, and zones survey. Okay, cool. Let's go with a dungeon survey. Pick the top 3 dungeons you enjoy leveling in Classic WoW. I like Deadmines, Shadowfang Keep, Stockades, Black Fathom Deep, Gnomeregan, Raise Up and Crawl, all the Scarlet Monasteries. I like Raise Up and Downs, I like Uldaman, I like Sulfurak, I like Maraudon. Maraudon is one of my favorite dungeons ever. I really think whoever made Maraudon is like a genius. Putting all these, it's 2 parts, right? Purple and orange. And they connect into one final dungeon. It's so nice. Sunken Temple of Atala Kar is also nice. Blackrock Depths and Lone Spire. The only dungeons are really, it's like, all of these are bangers for me. I think they are, like, I always have fun going to them. Well, maybe not Sulfurak. Okay, I'll remove Sulfurak. I like Sulfurak because I get the trinket or riding skill, or riding speed, but I don't... When I think about it, I'm not always having fun in Sulfurak. Now pick the top 3 dungeons you think need major revamping. I don't think any dungeon need major revamping. Like, as a dungeon. Some dungeons could use a few more quests. Some dungeons could use one new boss. Some dungeons, like stuff like that. But no dungeon in this list needs an actual rework. No changes. At launch, given a finite amount of developer resources, should more effort be put into creating entirely new dungeons or improving old dungeons? No. New dungeons can come whenever. Old ones are in dire need of work to fix. Okay, no, we don't have this one. Try to balance between the two. Make some new ones and fix the extra. But new dungeons will be more fun to experience at launch. Focus on them. No, hang on. Where is the... Don't... There is no... What do you mean? Where is the answer of... Launch the game as vanilla and change or add or fix things later. Should more open world dungeons and quests associated with be added? Think areas like Jedinar and Feywood, Stormguard in Ara. Yes. Yeah. Oh, this is so good. Yes. Dark Whisper Gorge and Winterspring. Yes. Yes. No. Open world dungeons are cool and make the world feel alive, full of mystery. Add lots more of them. Well, maybe not lots more. Turn open world dungeons into actual instance. No. Okay, this one. Like, right now, it's not very... like, you don't really go to these places. Maybe there are a few quests, but I would like some kind of system where, let's say you go to Stromgarde Keep in Arathi, and there is one... Maybe there is like a one boss per day over the week. So on Mondays, there's this boss. On Tuesdays, there's another boss. And they have different loot tables. So if you want a specific loot, you have to go there on Tuesdays, maybe. Stuff like that. And then make the way there kind of hard to get into as a Stellator or something. So you need friends. And you should be clapped, so you always need to bring a healer. Yeah, stuff like that. I really think open world dungeons are a really good idea to make the world more alive. And it also, like, imagine two groups want to kill this boss, and it has a spawn timer of maybe an hour. So that means you can have nice world PvP there. So it's like a mini world boss, but it's like super condensed into, instead of having one boss spawning one time in a week, and then you have to like scout it to be first to tag it like the world bosses are in actual vanilla. You have this, but in 1 hour cycles. So if you want it, you could just stay there for an hour. And if you want to control the boss and farm the place, you would have to control that area for a number of hours. Stuff like that is what I like. How do you feel about rare spawns inside of dungeons? Rare spawns are annoying inside of dungeons. No, and that they're nice. They're nice. Rare spawns are cool. Just make them always spawn. No, they're not rare if I can scout ahead of time. Well, then that's the problem. We should not let you scout ahead of time. Rare spawns are an exciting fun addition to dungeons, and I want to see more of them in Classic Plus. Yes, this is the one we want. How do you feel about lockout caps? Lockout caps are critically important to prevent OP classes from farming certain enemies. Keep them in the game. 5 per hour. Doesn't really affect me, whatever. I hate lockout caps. They are fun, detect a solution to a problem that isn't a problem. I feel like we want a combination of this and this, because lockout caps, they are important, but not to prevent OP classes from farming enemies. Like if you're a mage and you can farm it, then you are a mage and you can farm it. That's not the reason why we want it. We want it because RNT. But they will just have it so you are in there in 12 minutes and then you go out. And then you can do that forever. What I do think we should have a lockout cap. I think we should increase the lockout cap to like you can do one dungeon one time per day. So that you can go there and you can try to get the item, but if you can't get the item, you have to go out in the world and meet people instead. How do you feel about dungeon having a rotating or random boss spawn with specific loot? I love it. Adds a fun variety week to week or lockout to lockout that makes each run different. I would be disappointed to see the remove. Yes, I love it. Should there be heroic dungeons? I think we answered this already. No, not in the traditional sense. We should have hard dungeons, but there should only be one difficulty of each dungeon. Should there be a Mythic Plus style dungeon, ladder and progression? No. I don't like ratings. I don't like rated systems. Should certain bosses or areas be locked behind requiring a specific class or profession in your dungeon group? Yes. Of course. It's roleplay. Should player power chase items be extremely low drop rate instead? Hang on. Extremely low rate items in dungeons, or should those be cosmetic drops? Should player power chase items be extremely low drop rate items in dungeons, or should those only be cosmetic? Oh, I see. What they're asking is, if something is extremely low drop rate, for instance, like Fell Striker is like sub 1% or something, whatever it is, then is it okay if that also is very powerful? The answer is yes. They just if you are worried that people will spam farm them and like grind their brains out to get the best thing, just don't let people farm it. You can go into BRD once, try to get it. If you don't get it, too bad. And this means that if someone is lucky, they are incredibly lucky, and that's like this huge dopamine hit. And this also interferes with the meta brain. So if it's really a hassle to get that small advantage, then it's not worth it for more people, which means the the meta brain is kind of intercepted or like interrupted, which I think is good. Should there be solo challenges? Delves Mage Tower in Classic Plus. I'm leaning towards this one, but that's just my feeling. But I also think it's important to have things that are fun to do in the game. But I also think MMOs is about creating my own fun. I think MMOs is about being placed in the world and saying, what can I do with this world? Not what have the developers put in this world that can entertain me. That's not the question I wanna ask. Should Dungeon Finder be implemented? If so, teleports you to dungeon or only groups. Dungeon Finder should exactly. It should be an in-game UI to assist forming groups. Yes. Should summoning stones outside of dungeons be implemented? No. Getting to the dungeon adds to the experience of being in the world. Yes, exactly. This is my opinion. We want to. If I feel like, hey, I really want to get my quest done in Sunken Temple. This means that while I'm looking for people that want to do it with me, I should start moving there. Or I should call up my guildies and say, hey, I'm looking for people that want to do this dungeon with me. When can you play? Oh, you can play tonight? Cool. I will meet you outside the dungeon at 8. Awesome. Now we got a plan. Let's go. That's how we should do it. The world 1 out of 5 surveys completed. Lore survey? Shit, I don't know anything about lore. How would you rate the story as a whole in Vanilla WoW? I mean, maybe I do know a fair bit, actually. I mean, step 1, we're like a traveler, and there's like a bunch of... What I like about Vanilla is that you go out in the world, and they're like, hey, we have a problem here. Can you help me? It looks like you have a sword. Maybe you can try to kill these pigs for me. And this just keeps ramping up until you find yourself in like, shit, like we found this, like the Molten Core, and we need to go in and kill Ragnaros because he's dangerous. I don't know. That part I don't really know. Don't know very well. But I mean, maybe 6, maybe 7. Like I don't think Vanilla WoW is this linear thing. It's more like these looming danger parts, and that I really like. Do you feel Classic WoW does a good job explaining the story it's telling? Somewhat. Depends on the story. The whole story of Vanilla WoW, okay. This depends on the story because every quest line is actually really cool when you start to read it. Well, maybe not every, but in my experience, if I actually start reading quests, I often find that they are well written. But it's not in my what's it called, my routine to read quests. What is the best major city told? What major story told in Classic WoW by Blizzard? I'm not qualified to take this survey, actually. What is the worst story you're aware of told in Classic WoW? Major story. Should caverns? So let's go back to this. Caverns of Time be added as a tool for more dungeons, raids, and lore. Caverns of Time does not belong in Classic Plus. I think this is correct. Okay, I'm gonna... Caverns of Time is a great tool and Blizzard should use it more, but only for going backwards. Should minor factions like Reputation be expanded on? Should only be interested in a bigger part of the lore in the game? Defiance Brotherhood, obviously. Syndicate. Ogres are cool. Cenarian Circles. Argent Dawn. Brutal, like... This one goes into line of this one. Zandalar Tribe. I'm a rogue, so these... It's important to you if the story told in Classic Bloods leads from face to face in a cohesive way. No. It's not a big deal for me how the story is told and when. I want to be invested in what I'm doing. No. Should each phase or cluster of phases include a storyline? Well, I don't like phases. I guess that's what we call it, but okay, yeah. Conclude a storyline before picking up a new arc, or can stories run concurrently? Bouncing between different threads is what we do in vanilla, I think. Let's add unsure here. Which of the following villains, major enemies in WoW, would you consider have a compelling story? Where is there? I think the old gods things is pretty cool. I don't know the story of the other guys. Okay, I'm not a like story guy. I'm so like I really want to focus on this that I'm. Some people are PvE guys, like some people are raiders, some people are what's it called? So yeah, some people are PvEers, raiders. Some people are like questers. Some people love the lore, whatever. I am like, I'm a sandbox person. So when I go into the world, not like I feel like, oh, it's important that the lore is really intact. It feels like I need the world to feel alive. Quest and leveling survey. How do you feel about the leveling cadence in vanilla World of Warcraft? Average from 20 hours, 60 hours, blah blah blah. It's just right. I don't really mind if they slow it up or speed it up. No opinion actually. Should Classic Plus have phased level caps to raise over time until we eventually hit 60, like in Season Discovery? No. Time gating is shit. Rank these quest types in terms of how much you like them. With 1 being your favorite type to 11 being your least favorite. No, hang on. Not carry. I'm gonna see. Discover this location is good. Kill a specific raid boss is good. An enemy dropped a quest that begins. This is good. Time limit is shit. Perhaps X number of things can go up here. Carry this thing. If they mean carry, as in you can't do anything else at the same time, then it's bad. If they mean here you have an item. Fetch this item from this place and bring it back to me. Do X thing, but you have a time limit is the worst. So, something like this maybe. I think discover a new location is good because it makes you go to a new place in the world and you hopefully find other things on the way there, and or there. Kill a specific raid boss forces you into playing with other people. Enemy dropped a quest item that begins a new quest, makes you think that what could other guys drop and makes you grind more. Really good. Escort this NPC from point A to point B is the same as discover this location, but it's like it's flipped around. So discover this location is pick up a quest, go to another point, and then go back. Escort from point A is finding someone somewhere, and then bring him back. And I like escort quests. In theory, what makes them really bad in vanilla is that they are very tedious and like slow. Like they have not synced up the walking speed on the guys, and if they die, it's like a mess. So people don't like them. I think the idea is good. We just need to find a way to implement it better. Kill X number of kill X number of enemies is like the peak MMO laziness, but it also kind of works because it makes you grind, and then it makes you drop an enemy drop the quest item. So these funnel into each other. Craft X number of things. Come on, makes you care about your profession, which is good. Carry this thing from one NPC to another is the same. You get an item and then you go to another. That's the same as discover this location. You just don't have to go back. Actually, let's put this. Who cares? Something like this. Fetch this item from this race and bring it back to me is the same as discover this location. It's the same. It's literally the same. I put the time limit at the bottom because I don't like time limits. Do you feel like the flow of quest in vanilla well leads you from zone to zone in a natural way? There are some gaps, but generally it flows well. Yes. But you also have to grind mobs to be high enough level to begin new quests. Should there be more quest hubs within existing zones? There are enough hubs as it is. There could be a few quests extra per hub. How do you feel about puzzle quests that are more complicated to complete than kill 10 boars? Captain Santa's Hidden Treasure. These quests are awesome. More of these. How do you feel about repeatable quests in general? Repeatable turn-ins, dailies, weeklies, repetition turn-ins. I see, and I don't like this. I see the value of these quests as they don't give significant player power and allow for sweatiest player to grind things forever, if they so choose. I'm confused about this. What I like about repeatable quests is not necessarily that they might be repeatable. Is what story can you tell in the world with the repeatable quests? So if you have someone in wetlands, he might always take some grass that you have picked up, because he might be like a cook, and if you bring him ingredients, he will give you some of his food, and as long as you give him ingredients, he will keep cooking. So that's a repeatable quest that makes sense. And the same goes with the cloth turn-ins in the major cities. It makes sense that the military wants cloth for bandages and like stuff like that, so they can use in the war. But that's when you tell like a story through the repeatable quest, and then it's fine. Then grind it all you want. I don't care. But repeatable quests, that is just, if it feels like it's just a repeatable quest that is for no reason, then I think it's bad. Then it makes people just stay there forever, if it's good. But I like the idea that if you are like a sweaty player and you want to grind this thing over and over and over again, I think Vanilla WoW is the game that gives you the keys to that. Vanilla WoW is the game that says, if you want to farm Ferg balls or like the winter spring animal's reputation. Just do that. Do it. What you want to do with your time is it's your time. Should there be a daily, weekly world quests? The way retail WoW does world quests does not fit what I put in what I think Classic Plus should be. The only type of world quest should be one-time completable quest like the South Shore Assassin's Quest or the Giselton Caravan Quest in Desolace. World quests are fine as long as they aren't a massive chore list every day or week. Keep it lean. World quests get players out in the world more regularly. Adding them would be a good feature. So, what I don't like about this is that we know what world quests in retail are. But if I wouldn't know, then I think world quest is a good idea. But how you don't implement world quest is through like these events that just pop up every now and then, and like everyone flood there. But they could be good for the world. I think this one is tricky. I like putting people in the world, that's for sure. But I don't like world quest being like implemented in such a way that it neglects other parts. If it turns into like a world tour, then I'm not in. Yeah, I guess we take this one. Should every class get more class quests on top of the already existing one? Yes. Expand the RPG. How do you feel about group quests while leveling? This is good. I love group quests. Would like to see more of them as I level in Classic Plus. Should quest rewards gear be buffed? Why though? I don't agree that this is what happens. First of all, I don't think every quest reward should be an upgrade, and I don't think that every quest reward is terrible. Well, no, hang on. I didn't mean to say that. I don't agree that... Let's see, what do I actually think here? There obviously are... There are quest items that are bad, but when I level, I usually equip the quest items. But yeah, we can take this one. Could attunements be streamlined, made easier? I don't think so. The raids are like the pinnacle of storytelling. So... nah. Travel sections are also important, especially for like the Onyxia. It's really tedious, I know, but... Yeah, should attunements be account-wide? The thing I think I don't want it to be account-wide. Because the Classic Plus I dream of is a game that doesn't really promote alts. I dream of a game where you might have alts, but you also have a main, and you don't like do all the raids on the alts and stuff. I don't know. How would you feel if Classic Plus had prestige level where you could level above 60? No. Why don't the prestige level give small bonuses? No. Should there be heirloom type? No. How would you feel if your alts got increasingly more XP the more max level characters you have? No. The Classic Plus allow XP toggling. I don't like that they put for twinking here, because I don't think we should toggle XP for twinking. So I want to put no here. But if it said, like, I can see a world where I would like to toggle XP off if I want to complete all of the quests in a zone without out leveling it. So XP toggling could be kind of cool. But now, since they said for twinking, I'm going to go with no. Submit. Raids survey and zone survey. All right. Should there be a level up raids that give strong items but require 10 players? Should there be a level up raids that give strong items but require 10 plus players? Sod, BFD, Normagan, Sunken Temple. So what they're asking here is like, should there be hard dungeons for more than 5 players? I think this is where the open world dungeon comes in. So like in the Stromgarde Keep, that's where you have it. Open world with a mayhem open world PvP area with good drops that makes people, if they want to level alts, they go there with their friends, they kill the opposite faction, kill the boss, get the loot, and get the fuck out. But I guess we can have this. It's not fine. No, actually, no. Actually, no opinion. How do you feel about catch-up raids? Catch-up raids invalidate all the work I did in the previous tier. Like, I don't really care as long as the content is fun. People are so caught up with this. Hey, I put in so much work and now it's gone. How do you feel about RP elements in raids? This is really important. The spirit of RP. How do you feel about raids getting nerfed day, weeks, months after launch? I don't like it. No. Outliers aside, especially. This is important. Nerfs never feel good and should never happen. Let players struggle, we will get it eventually. I feel very strongly about this, that if you launch, you have obviously outliers, and we're not talking about the outliers, but as soon as you get the numbers on the boss correct as you want them, you don't touch them ever again. Given the choice of a new raid being spoiled by PTR but launched relatively bug-free versus a completely unseen raid but fairly buggy, which would you prefer? I would prefer the buggy one. Rank your ideal raid size. My ideal raid size is 40. And then it's 20. And then it's... Ooh, and then it's... Then it's 10. Then it's 30. Then it's 25. And then 15. So, original vanilla. Season of Discovery. Whatever. Yeah, I think Wrath had 10 mans, right? And if we can't have any one of these, then we're going 30. And if we can't have 30, then we're going 25. Because these are like these. I don't care. How do you feel about the raids and or bosses requiring resistances in Classic Plus? The resistances are kind of funny to think about because it is the system we already have in vanilla that could support a true horizontal progression system. But no one likes it. No one likes resistances because it like makes you, oh, now I need to take off my good gear and put on my resistance gear. But it could also be the catalyst for us to say, you put on this gear and this gear makes you survive in this environment. And now we could have horizontal progression. So when the new zone comes out, and then the new raids comes out, we need somehow to get our hands on gear from that raid that makes us live longer in that raid. But yeah, no one likes it. Oh, they actually said it here. Resistances are a fun way to do horizontal progression, and true to Classic. I would be disappointed if resistances were removed. I would be, yeah. I think we should lean in, but that's my personal opinion. I think we should lean on even more into resistances, because that's the system we have for horizontal progression. Should raids have multiple difficulty levels? No. I'll die on this hill. And it's not because it's annoying. Like, they put in so much value in this. No, keep the raids one difficulty. It gets annoying when there are so many different versions of boss. It's not about annoyance. It's about we play the same game. Everyone plays the same game. That's the point. How would you want the difficulty of raids being Classic Plus to be? Give them about as hard or even easier than Classic. I don't want to prog multiple days a week. The difficulty should be about as hard as some of the raids were in Season Discovery. Tough for some, easy for others, but definitely harder than the originals. I feel like these are missing the points. None of these are getting the points. But I think it should be around SOD. It should provide a challenge for the vast majority of the players, but it should be killable for them as well. And it's because people should be able to take part in the spectacles. They should be able to feel the RP. They should be able to feel the power from killing a boss and getting the loot, and then using that loot out in the open world. They should not feel like this boss is unreachable for me, in general. If it is unreachable for you, though, that should be fine. If it comes out and the boss is not killable for some guild, some group of people, and it is simply too hard for some reason, I think that is okay. If there were different difficulties of raid, how should the loot differ? If there were different difficulties, so now I have to accept this fact. I don't care. I guess the best would be more loot drops per boss, so the guilds that are doing harder content gets more rewards, not like better gear or other. I think perhaps titles is a good thing. Yeah, titles is fine. I don't want mounts, and I don't want tabards. Like, I don't want cosmetics, because that's a whole can of worms where then you would have to, like, do we allow boosting and stuff like that? You shouldn't do the end game content like that. But titles is fine. Then you can say, like, yeah, we're the guild who got this title first or something. That's fine. Should cooldowns resist in raids after a wipe successful kill? I think they should not rest. Should not, because it's this idea that if you pull a boss and then you fail, and then you can do the exact same try again. So like keep on pulling, wiping, pulling, wiping. I don't think your character should function differently in a raid. That's it. How do you feel about world bosses? World bosses are annoying and incentivize players no lifing so they can scout the spawn. These should be removed or changed. No way. I don't really mind. I never felt like I was missing much. World bosses and the competition to get them are a fun part of what makes Classic great, and I'd be disappointed to see them change. I have never chased world bosses, and I will still pick this one. Just want to mention this. I think this is true, but I have never scouted world bosses, but I think this, I believe in this. This is in the line of what I like. How would you want world bosses to look in Classic Plus? What do you mean look? No, hang on. We should not take world bosses that are in the world in vanilla and put them in instances. I like world bosses, but I feel like the instance version didn't really capture the magic of them. Maybe some type of hybrid where they can spawn in the world and is at the instance could work. World bosses should never be instanced. It makes them super lame and no... I mean, why are you putting so much value in this? It makes them super lame and not fun. That's not what I think, but I have to take this. The race to tag it and defend the tag is the best part, and removing that makes them, by making them instanced, ruins it. How do you feel about limited time events like the AQ Gate event spawning content in the world within a set limited time frame? These events are cool, but they create FOMO. I don't want to have scheduled my life around these games, so remove them. I like these events and the narratives they create, but they should last longer than 10 hours or even a couple of days to have time to engage with them. I think this is kind of fair. I love these events. I want to see more of them. They are epic. I was here. Both of these are true. I think time-gated things is well, time-specific things in this case is cool, and it makes people feel like they were there. But I think it's also fair to give a decent time frame. So 10 hours or a couple of days. That is like the Shifting Sands quest line is like over the course of a week or something. So I think this is fine. But I also love it and I want more of them. How do you feel about quests that require you to enter multiple raids? Awesome. Yeah. Don't you dare change these quests. It's so cool running around the world and complete these epic quests. These are like the answers I don't like. I like these, but maybe once the content has passed the current meta, create some sort of catch-up so I don't have to run it and still can get my item. It's like, this is an MMORPG. This is a world. The world should not change around you. You adapt to the world. And if you don't want to adapt to the world, then this world is not for you. How do you feel about bosses cycling week to week or mechanics changing over time? Beatrix in Scarlet Enclave, Promagus Breaths, I like it. Some variety is fun. Changing it drastically is a step too far. No, I would say like you have different bosses and stuff, for sure. How long should raid gear remain relevant? Ideally forever. Current gear should be comparable. Current gear should be comparable to or slightly worse than the next tier's item. Current gear shouldn't be relevant. Should be relevant for 2+ tiers. I think one character. Okay, so let's see if I can say this how I see it. Currently in vanilla, one character it's not done until the end of the game. So you use items from Molten Core all through the game. You use items from Blackwing Lair into the end of the game. You use items from AQ40 into the end of the game. So one character full journey is the game. So this means that a piece of item should not necessarily be relevant for everyone forever, but there should be items in the first tier that we are using through the entire game, and then maybe like 3 or 4 tiers that item is replaced. But then you still have maybe, so an example is this. Let's say you get a helmet from Molten Core that you are not replacing through the entire game. So then we get a new raid after Naxxramas. So we get, let's say we get, what's called down in Tanaris? Uldum. Let's say we get Uldum. Then you get a new helmet. But then you are replacing the Molten Core helmet. But this doesn't mean you are replacing the Blackwing Lair shoulder pads. So this, so you, instead of seeing it face per character, I want to see a lifetime for a slot to be very long. Does that make sense? Should the phase schedule in Classic Plus reorder the raid schedule in original vanilla? And use phase schedule to experience. Classic Plus should just add more after Nax. I think we should have a new phase schedule, but this doesn't mean we should change the order. We should still have Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, AQ40, and Nax. But in between, we could have other things. We could have a new single boss raid. We could have a 10-player, a raid tuned for 10 players. We could have a new UBRS. We could have a really hard 5-man dungeon. We could have a dungeon tuned for 3 people, or I don't know. But like, the ideas here could be endless. That we squeeze in between the original phases, and then after Nax, we have to figure out something new. Do Classic Plus allow GDKPs? No. Okay, let's surge through the zones survey as well. Do you want new continents added to Classic Plus? No. No continents. Let's see. Vanillafied. Oh my god. Check all you would like to see, not as they launch, but continents, worlds, or dimensions. What do you mean? Like, how is this a continent, world, or dimension? This is still the original continent. No portals. Something like something like this. I'm not really sure where all these island of the coast of Stormwind. Cool, like this. Island of the coast of Hillspread. Yes, like this. Everything that is like expanding the world on the continents we have is good. So I can run there. That's like the key for me. If I can run there without using like a portal, taking a Zeppelin to a new continent, because we should be able to stay on the same chunk of island and see each other. And we should especially not put the new content that drops new gear that people are chasing away from where people are leveling. We want to level and play endgame at the same place. That's why Dire Maul is so cool. Would you prefer Blizzard focus on improving existing zones or adding? I would prefer if they are improving the existing ones. Somewhere in between, I'll take. Could there be more fast travel options? No. No. I could see more because we have the continents. I could see another, like maybe one more Zeppelin. Multiple Hearthstones at the different places. What is this? No. Brother, ew. Should certain fast travel options be unlockable? No. Depends, actually. Quest lines to unlock one additional Zeppelin route. Good idea. Would you want to see more rare spawns, rare events in the world? The only thing I don't like about rare spawns and rare events is that the game is creating something for you to do, which I think the players should do instead. But I think we should take this. Because I also think it's good if someone is like, oh, I'm grinding this, and I'm starting to get a little bit bored about grinding this, and then suddenly, boom, you have a quest, like you can go here, and then you know all the other guys are flooded there. You will obviously find people to talk to if you want. That's good. So I like this, but I don't like when the game is systematically telling you what to do. How do you feel about more open world mini bosses, akin to world bosses, but cater to 5 players? Yes. Definitely sounds interesting. Where is my yes? Just yes. Should there be more PvP locations and events in the zone? Tower Control and EPL, Silithus, Blood Moon, yes. Well, not Blood Moon. Silithus is awesome. Not many people play around it. But it is cool that you can just pick up a thing and then you should fight over it and hand it in. Towers in EPL is also cool on paper, but no one does it. They add fun variety. They get in the way of leveling. Who cares? Remove PvP areas in open world. Nope. What do you mean they have no place in Classic Plus? They are Classic Plus. Should the phases in Classic Plus feature limited time or rotating world events like Elemental Invasions, AQ opening? Yes. Of course. Should the phases in Classic Plus progress through the change in a permanent way? Well, this question is interesting because it's kind of opening the idea that if we get Classic Plus now, and then in 5 years we could burn the world again, and I'm not opposed to it, but I don't trust it being good. Because the idea behind Classic Plus is not making the same mistakes again. Actually, yeah. So, well, maybe the world has to change, but the thing is, not in a permanent way, as long as it's not too drastic. I mean, these are not conflicting. Classic Plus should always retain that old world feel. You can keep that while still changing the world in a permanent way. You could add a hub. You could add like now when you have defeated this big monster, this new race like started to come out from the woods, and now they have a settlement somewhere. That's a permanent change in the world. But that doesn't mean you have to burn the whole world to the ground like we did in Cataclysm. Okay, cool. We have taken the world survey. I don't think we should. Classes and talent survey, profession survey, races and faction survey. Systems. I think I'll take this off stream because I feel like I talked about the points I feel the most for right now. I have one more thing I wanted to say. regarding this. I want to see if I can find explore content to see if someone has the systems maybe. I want to find where people talk about classes. How do I back out? There we go. The systems, the player, the world. Classes. Because I have an idea that I would like to workshop through here. And that is the idea of the homogenized tank. And that is the idea of picking out a few things that this is like it's a little bit it's not a common thought for me. Usually I think that if you're a warrior, you should be able to do this and this. And if you're a priest, you should be able to do this and that. And that means that you are wanted in certain scenarios. But I also think that it would be very healthy for the game if taunt was not a class ability. And I'm not really sure if I agree with myself here, but I would like to think about this. What if every class in the game, like it's like in the spell book as just like attack. So like if I go to my spell book and I just open the spell book, I should have I could have a taunt. And I would really like to factions, subtopics, the alliance, the horde, classes. Okay, so discussion relates to classes as a whole, including balance, utility. Want to experiment with talent trees? Check out this custom talent builder. Oh, that I was just thrown somewhere else. Okay. Search post coming soon. Okay. Sort by new to me. Trending. What's the most balancing? Oh yeah, of course. Cosmetic classes, class titles. Balance tanks situationally. Okay. Instead of having warriors tank everything, there should be more situations where other tanks get a moment to shine. Perhaps some bosses with mechanics that favor one class over another. You don't have to fine-tune talents and skill, try to make all tanks equal, but just make it so that a warrior isn't optimal for 90% of the cases. Bear tank should stand out as having the highest max HP. Yeah, paladin tank. Shaman tank, they should be the best tanks for bosses that deal high elemental damage and low physical damage. They have a talent that reduces fire, frost, nature damage. Play up this talent somehow. Classic has never been about every class spec being equal, but at least give every class spec a useful purpose. So, okay, if I click Discord thread here, do I get sent to that? Yeah. I do. Okay, so I'm sent to Discord then. So what I wanna propose somehow is that everyone can taunt. I don't know if it would make sense, because it could get such a shit show if like a mage taunts. Yeah, maybe it's such a bad idea. Let's not put it in just yet. But I think it's I think it's a cool idea that put it rather in the basic spellbook instead of the class spellbook. Top posts. Respec costs are too high. Should be light touch, balancing classes, cosmetic classes. All right. Yeah. I think we're done here for today, right? I think we're done here for today. We have went through the things we wanted. And I think it's time to play some games. What do you think? What's the time? It's 2040. So I've been live. Yeah, for about 2 hours. Wow, that time just flew by. Yeah, that time flew by. I think I'll end it there actually. So, because I don't really think I will achieve anything by this time. So I will do that. So thank you everyone for coming. That was fun for me. Maybe not for you, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and I get to talk about some of my favorite games. So it's a win. We'll see what we do on Wednesday then, because now we have done this, I don't really know what to do. But stay tuned for that. Join the Discord, and I hope to see you guys around. Bye.